Hey there, welcome back to another Star Trek review, and this time it is Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home, my favorite Star Trek movie. My number one favorite. Ever since I was a kid, I said my top three is the fourth one, the first one, and the third one. But this one is just a lot of fun. Also, that's a beautiful poster. Kirk and Spock back to back. And I remember having the VHS of this when I was a kid. Watched this many times. It's just very fun, it's entertaining, it's funny, has a good story, has a good heart on its shoulder, yeah, good intentions. Everyone has their moments, whether it be Chekhov with the nuclear vessels, whether it be George Takei trying to fly the chopper and the thing with the windshield wipers. Everyone has their little moments. You get some really entertaining pieces of dialogue, some nice moments where in the current San Francisco, double dumbass on you. Spock trying to deal with colorful language. They are not the hell of your whales. Oh, and I guess they told you that, huh? The hell they did. Humor that worked very well. It was not... It kept a consistent tone, and it wasn't... I hate to say, it wasn't the humor that I disliked a lot in quite a bit of the Next Generation movies. With Data laughing like an idiot because of his emotion chip and Generations, or Worf getting a fucking pimple, and Insurrection, or Data wanted to be a flotation device, or said, I could be a flotation device. Wasn't that shit. It was much more of a... It wasn't embarrassing, if that makes sense. It just wasn't embarrassing humor. It was humor that was good-natured and very easy to smile. And think of the pitch of this movie. If you pitched a Star Trek movie, go, okay, you want to make a Star Trek film. Let's have it be, okay, what's the story? Okay, the story is they go back in time. Oh, cool, a time travel. They've done time travel quite a bit in the original series. Why the time travel? Well, time travel is they're going to go back, they're going to pick up two whales. Whales? Yeah, two whales, and they're going to go forward in time. And okay, why do they want whales? Well, they want whales because this probe went to Earth, and it wants to talk to the whales. Can you imagine pitching that? The person you're talking to would be like, get the fuck out of my face, and then go, you're fucking fired. Everyone in this room is fucking fired. It's such a crazy, and when you say it's silly idea, but they make it work. And in a way, this is a take on environmentalism, not trying to make animals extinct, to wake up on that, but it's not so ham-fisted that it takes away from the fun. It's there, it's easy to see, but it's not to the point of being lectured, best way to put it. And in a way, sort of the conclusion of a trilogy that started with Star Trek II, then went to 3 and 4. Because 2, 3, and 4 really do connect with each other. Where Spock has come back from the dead, he's regaining more of his memories and becoming more and more like Spock, and believing in his friends. And it was also an interesting thing with this movie that they fly the Klingon ship, the bird of prey. It was sort of an interesting thing that usually we see them on the Enterprise set, but through this film, when they're on a ship, it's with the Klingon bird of prey. It's a nice, interesting change of set, change of pace. Made it a little bit more interesting, a little bit more different. Speaking of which, the guy who did the score, Leonard Rosenman, I don't think he's done a score before or after with Star Trek. Because it was Jerry Goldsmith, then James Horner did 2, and I think 3. I believe he did 3. I always forget that. Yep. And then five was Jerry Goldsmith, and I forgot who did six. I'll get to that when I talk about it. But yeah, it makes sense why it's a very different score. I thought I remember reading this was nominated for Academy Award for Best Music. I'm not sure if that's true, but I remember reading about that. And the score fits the film for what it's supposed to be. Like if you took this score and you put in Star Trek 2 or Star Trek 5 or the motion picture, it would not work at all. But for the fun, sense of humor, it works and it fits well. I can't say it's my favorite score of the Star Trek films, as in if I listened to it on YouTube, I would say it'd be like the motion picture, like the Jerry Goldsmith. That's my favorite score. And then maybe go to, and actually the score to Star Trek 5 I think is really good and underrated. I really like that score. And then I'd go to the James Horner ones. But for the whimsical way this movie acts, it works for it. Also, you have Catherine Hicks in the movie, because when they go back to San Francisco in the 80s, and this came out in 1986, which is a great year for movies. I mean, 1986, when you look back, I'm like, wow, I love The Golden Child, the year of Aliens, and Big Trouble in Little China, and the Fly remake, and I love Maximum Overdrive. I think, Crocodile Dundee, which I love, and Short Circuit. A great year for movies. And when this came out, this became the biggest hit of Star Trek. Probably not nowadays. I'm sure the J.J. Abrams films overtook that, but for a good long while, this was the most successful Star Trek movie. And it's well deserved. It's well deserved. It's a great flick. I love the story that it tells. At the beginning of the film, you have a nice dedication to the Challenger, which, for those who don't remember, it was a shuttle that they were going off, and in like a minute or so, unfortunately, it blew up and people passed away. And it happened around the time they were making the film. They said, you know what, let's give them a little dedication at the beginning of the movie. And it's nice that they carried that over to other releases. They didn't take it off because they deserve it, the people of the Challenger. And like I say, it does connect with 2 and 3, because at the beginning of the film, you have the Klingons being pissed and calling Kirk a terrorist for what he did, and he killed innocent Klingons. Although it's funny when you watch that scene, they show footage from Star Trek 3. I'm like, how the fuck did they get footage of the Enterprise blowing up? Like, how the fuck did they get that footage? Was there a camera, like a secret camera, that showed the footage of the Enterprise blowing up? How the fuck did they do that? Did they... Well, at the time, did they rent a VHS copy of Star Trek 3 and like, hey, it's like that scene in Spaceballs. Spaceballs the movie. What you're watching now is happening now. Where now? Like, did they get that? Like, how the hell did they get the footage of the Enterprise blowing up? So that's a bit of a cheat. It's just like, how the fuck did that, but yeah, that's like one little nitpick. But I did, when you watch the film again, pay attention to the beginning where it's like, well, how the fuck did they get the footage of the Enterprise blowing up? Like, yeah, did they have a camera set up in space? And the whole bit is this probe coming to Earth, and any ship that passes by loses power, and it starts fucking up the Earth and vaporizing the oceans because it's sending out this message. It's not getting a message in return. And people of Earth are saying, stay away, don't come near here, your ship will be fucked up, lose all power. Meanwhile, our characters, after the end of the third film, they're still on Vulcan with this bird of prey Klingon ship. And you really get a nice sense of the characters in this movie. McCoy, DeForest Kelly saying, it's bad enough we gotta be court-martialed and probably have to spend forever mining, but we gotta go back in this Klingon flea trap. And meanwhile, Spock is training his mind, answering loads of questions, and then he gets stumped on how do you feel, and has a conversation with his mother. And yeah, it's just a nice sort of change of pace for the crew to be on the Bird of Prey Klingon ship. Just them having to fly and control a Klingon ship, a Bird of Prey. Just was a little bit interesting. And the dialogue, it's some really fun, witty dialogue. You know, McCoy talking to Spock, I guess I couldn't fill your shoes. He's like, my shoes? And he's trying to talk to him about, well, you died, what happened? He's like, no, I can't tell you anything. And McCoy's like, what, do I have to die to get you to try to talk about life after death? And Spock's just ignoring him. I got a number of distress calls. And then McCoy goes, I don't doubt it. And they get the distress calls, and they realize that it's humpback whales, and they've been extinct for a long while, and they realize they gotta go back in time. And McCoy's like, now just wait a damn minute. And it's like they gotta go back in time. This funny line when Kirk is talking to Scotty, can you build something tamed here for humpbacked? And Scotty's like, humpbacked people? Kurt's like, no, whales, man, whales. And it's an interesting idea that what if an alien race came by and it's not them wanting to contact humans, what if they want to contact another form of life on Earth? That is an interesting idea. Whether it be dolphins or monkeys or even fucking cats, dogs living together, mass hysteria, or whatever it be. In this case, it's whales, which are known to be pretty intelligent creatures. So again, it was a nice little touch on the script. And they go back in time, this really trippy scene. Like, a lot of people talk about trippy scenes in certain movies, whether it be movies about LSD or films like Altered States and so forth. But this one sort of gets not talked about, but I would say it's one of the more trippier sequences when they go back in time. Because when they're going back, it's like this shot of Kirk on the side, and these clouds and white floating faces that start to morph. So you go from like Scotty to Uhura, Sulu to Chekhov, McCoy to Spock, pushing the Kirk, and then you have this almost eerie shot of sort of a whale and this pushing of a whale looking at you, or I guess it's a whale. I mean, and then this body falling to the earth. No, it's like, yeah, it's falling to the earth, and then the next shot's like rising up, and it's like, is it going to the water? It's just a really trippy, weird, interesting sequence that I always enjoyed. It's like an interesting take on what time travel is like. And what's interesting is when you listen to the dialogue of all the faces, I thought it was kind of cool. Considering its time, some of the dialogue is dialogue we'll hear in the future. And I don't know, just the way that was done was nice little interesting touch. Getting very trippy. And then they're in San Francisco, and you have some more fun stuff. Guy almost hits him, and is a cab driver. Watch you going, you dumbass. And Kirk says, well, double dumbass on you. Or when he tries to sell these glasses like he got in Star Trek 2, the guy's like, I'll take $100. And Kirk is like, is that a lot? Or Kirk and Spock try to get on the bus, and then they get kicked off, and Spock's like, what does it mean, exact change? And Chekhov, I mean, you gotta remember this is the time with the Cold War between the US and the Soviets. So you have this guy who's playing a Russian character, Walter Koenig, looking for the nuclear vessels in Alameda. And he's trying to ask this cop, and the cop's just staring at him, not saying anything. Looking for, where do they keep the nuclear vessels? And of course you have one of my favorite scenes with the punker on the boom box, whereas this punch song was like, "'Cause I hate and I berate you." He's like, "Will you mind stopping that damn noise?" And the punch gives him a middle finger, and Spot's like, "Okay," and Nerve punches him. Not punch, but Nerve pinches him, shuts the boom box, and people start clapping. It's just a lot of fun sequences stretched together, and it was a nice change of pace considering the second one. Even the third one was pretty serious because Spock died, Kurt's son died. So yeah, Kurt's son died, and then, but it was a change of pace. But at least they kept the tone, like I said, consistent. And this humor was handled way better than an Insurrection or some of the other movies. I'll even admit Star Trek V as well. I like Star Trek V, but the Scotty bump in his head, that's one of the things I don't like about the film. I will say Leonard Nimoy did a really good job handling the characters. Yeah, he even in films not Star Trek, like Three Men and a Baby. I love Three Men and a Baby. I mentioned this quite a few times. I believe I reviewed the film on here. Three Men and a Baby is one of my favorite comedies of the 80s with Tom Selleck, Steve Guttenberg, Ted Danson, and Leonard Nimoy directed. And that's what pisses me off, go on a tangent. I hate when they don't interview these guys about stuff. I like Leonard Nimoy. I would love to hear his thoughts on Three Men and a Baby, which was such a huge success, and now we never will because he's passed away. With the millions of questions he got with Star Trek, I wish there was something where someone asked him about Three Men and a Baby. How did you get the job? How was it working on the film? Did they offer you the sequel? Did like all the... But let me get back to this movie. And yeah, Leonard Nimoy did a wonderful job with this. I like a lot of the conversations are fun. Like when Spot's going, I notice all the colorful phrases you started using, and Kurt's like, "Oh, the swearing, yeah." He's something to the effect of, "Nobody pays attention to you unless you swear every other word," which is still true to this day. So I thought that was kind of a funny observation. And Catherine Hicks, which, yeah, I forgot if I already talked about this. I think I did, but bears repeating again. They wanted Eddie Murphy for this film because Paramount loved him with his movies like Beverly Hills Cop, and he went on to do The Golden Child, which I'm glad because I love The Golden Child and I love this movie. Both came out in '86. And I don't think Eddie Murphy would have fit in this. I mean, granted, there's a curiosity on how that would have played out. Of course, people will probably be like, Superman 3, Richard Pryor, but I like Superman 3, so... But I don't know, maybe the studio thought that. I mean, it's not the studio that made Superman 3, but maybe they looked at a film like that and they go, nah, do his own film. And I'm fine, because we got two great movies, in my opinion, that Paramount doesn't even fuck about. Well, at least they put this as a collector's edition. Which, by the way, this DVD is nice because it's the only one that has a commentary with both William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy in the same room. Because Leonard Nimoy was on the commentary for Part 3, William Shatner's on the commentary for Part 5. But they're both on the commentary together for this, and it's a pretty cool commentary. So that was nice listening to. And what's nice about these collector's editions, they do have quite a few features. Yeah, I would hope they ported this to the Blu-rays of these, but I don't know. I don't have the Blu-rays. But I like the idea of the whales, and you have Spot looking at the whales, he's swimming with the whales, and Kurt's reaction, like, what the fuck are you doing? And Catherine Hess comes out, what are you doing here? What are you... And Spot's going, excuse me, they like you, but they are not the hell your whales. Which is, I guess they told you that, huh? It's like, the hell they did. So I like Spot's trying to utilize the colorful language. He's not quite getting it. That to me is funnier because he's doing it with a straight face than when Data is laughing and I hate this. I hate this. You know, like Generations or the flotation device thing, Insurrection. That was much more annoying than funny. Like this, the lines were actually very witty and entertaining. Like the humor was fun. Even with Kirk, where he's like, "Don't worry about him. He did a little too much LDS." Like even he's like messing up. You mean LSD? So he took a little too much LDS. I like that. Well, even when Kurt's like, you need to ease down on the colorful phrases and also maybe try lying, and Spot's like, I cannot lie. And Kurt's like, well, you can exaggerate. Exaggerate? Yes, exaggerate. You used to do that. Can't you remember? And then Spot goes, the hell I can't. Just a lot of fun. It's a feel-good movie. When you get to the end of the film, when they're in the ocean, after this really cool shot of the bird of prey going to the future San Francisco, under the bridge, into the water, and Kurt is swimming and rescues the whales and gets out and it's storming out, and when the whales talk to the probe and everything's fine, the crew are laughing, they're in the water and they're enjoying themselves. Such a feel-good moment. It's just very easy for me to smile at that. It makes you feel good at the end of the movie, and I like that. Even though interesting little touch, which in the 13 Star Trek films they've never done, is at the end credits they show first off individual pictures of each actor in order of billing, like William Shatner, Leonard Nimoy, and then they show scenes from the movie while the credits are playing. I thought that, again, there's a nice little touch that before or since they've never done. So I appreciate little things like that. I really do. Again, just a lot of, I keep mentioning and repeating this, but a lot of fun conversations and dialogue. Like when Kirk and Spock get picked up by Catherine Hicks in her sort of pickup truck, and she's like, "Who are you two really?" They're talking, and then Spock's going to Kirk, "Are you sure it isn't time for a colorful metaphor?" Colorful metaphor. And she's like, "Listen, you're not trying to do this, right? Because I don't want, dipshits." And Kurt's like, "No, ma'am, no dipshit." And she offers them the dinner. Do you like Italian? And Kurt says yes. And Spock keeps saying no. Yes, no, yes, yes. I love Italian. And so do you. And then Spock goes, yes. They play off better than I'm making it sound like. And the crew gets stuff to do. Scotty and McCoy go to get this glass that they need. They talk to this guy, and Scotty thinks it's the computer, and they give him the mouse. Hello, computer. You got to do the keyboard. Oh, keyboard. Chekhov and Uhura get to the nuclear vessels, and Chekhov gets captured. He tries to escape. He falls, gets hurt, taken to the hospital. They try to help him out. They get him out of there. And even with McCoy arguing with the doctors how primitive they are. This nice little sweet thing where this sweet lady who's sick is like, what's wrong with you? What's this, the Dark Ages? Because she's on dialysis. You take these 2 pills, and if you have any questions, you talk to me. And later on, you see that sweet, actress that got seems like a sweet lady. It's like, hey, this doctor gave me these pills, I have a new kidney. Doctor's giving me these pills, I have a new kidney. So it's like even the little thing right there. Here's a sweet lady. She seems sweet, who's sick. Now she's happy. It's like a little thing that probably no one else would mention, but I thought, okay, that makes me smile. It's funny. It's sweet. Even though it's short, you know, sometimes the little things is where you have to pay attention. I really do think there's a lot of movies today. I really do feel this way. There's a lot of movies today that do not look at the small things. They look at the big things, just be broad. They don't pay attention to the small things. I really feel that there's a lot of movies that don't do that nowadays. And that's sad because they really should, because sometimes the smallest things will be the things that you'll remember or you'll laugh or you'll smile about. They get everyone together. You have this fun thing where Sulu gets the glass to the ship and he's flying a chopper and this little bit here with the windshield wipers. Like, oh shit. They get there. They stop this harpoon from these guys trying to hunt the whales. They get the two whales. Go back to the future, so to speak. And like I said, they have to crash, get the whales out, Captain Kirk saving the day, and yeah, nice, sweet ending. They go through last shot of the film. They're together. They're wondering what new ship they're going to get, and then you get a nice reveal that it's a new Enterprise. They think it's going to be the Excelsior, the ship from Star Trek 3, but no, it's kind of cool because they know that the Enterprise itself is a character in these movies. And it's sort of nice by the end of this film where it's the reveal of this new character. Not a new character. It's a reveal of like an old character. Wow, it's like a friend you get to see again. And I thought that was a really nice way to end the movie. Like, here's a friend we've missed throughout this film, and comes back, and then go forward to Star Trek 5 and Star Trek 6, which I enjoy those movies as well. But yeah, I think it's funny, entertaining dialogue, great interactions of the characters, great juxtaposition of the characters with the 20th century, the time this was made in the late 80s. Characters get to have stuff to do, get their moments to shine. Great interactions. Nice story, again, about environmentalism. Even when Catherine Hitch is giving the tour, they show real footage. It is graphic footage, but this is real. Of what whalers had shot about skinning and killing these whales. It's very graphic. It's very like, ugh. And yeah, I hate that shit. I hate that shit goes on nowadays. I'm like, you know what? And this cover guy, I love chicken. I love hamburgers. I think, stuff like that's enough. Some animals just leave the fuck alone. Just saying. Especially if they're on the endangered species list. Just leave them the fuck alone. Again, just saying. But such a feel-good movie. Entertaining film. Leonard Nimoy, like I said, does a wonderful job directing. Leonard Rosenman. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. Score fits the film well. The cast do their jobs wonderfully. A lot of laughs, a lot of good times. I don't really have any problems with this movie. I really don't. Moves at a good pace. Never found it boring at all. And special effects worked well. Industrial Light and Magic. Come back again like they did with Part 2 and Part 3. Very nice. My favorite Star Trek film. Just a lot of fun. So thanks for watching. Take care. And next time I'll talk about, in my opinion, a bit of an underrated sequel. There are problems. It's my least favorite of the first 6 movies, but I still quite enjoy this movie. And that is Star Trek V, The Final Frontier. Now, how can I like this movie? Even though it does have a horror dancing naked, which I don't like that scene, or Scotty bumping his head, which I don't like that scene either, and the effects are not up to par with the others, which I know there's stories behind that. Despite some of those flaws, why do I like this film? Well, find out next time. See you guys later. Bye-bye.